Hi everyone, and welcome to our first gameplay live stream of Marvel's Midnight Suns. My name is Caroline Guevara, producer and your host for today. I am joined by two very special guests, Jake Solomon, our creative director.
Very happy to be here. Very happy to finally play the game for people.
Of course. And of course, Garth DeAngelis, our franchise producer.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you haven't followed us on social media yet, please do so on Twitter and Instagram. Again, that is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Give us a follow so you can be up to date for the latest and greatest. And also, if you want a very exclusive skin for Blade or Night Stalker skin, definitely sign up for our newsletter.
We're getting into some pretty incredible stuff, Caroline and Jake,
All right.
which we are ecstatic to show the world.
Finally happy to just be able to play the game.
It's been a while, and on behalf of the team, before we do dive in, watching the trailer, watching the gameplay assets that came out, it's been incredibly invigorating for the team to see the reaction from the community. It really does energize us. We are going to be finishing the game and seeing your guys' love and excitement for what's to come. The team really appreciates, so thank you all. We've also been listening to your feedback already, very important to us.
Yep, for sure.
And one piece we definitely wanted to touch on was the fact that this game is a premium title, an enormous single-player game that is brimming with content, and we're not going to have gameplay microtransactions.
No. I understand why people would think that, but no. Every ability that your heroes can have, they're in the game. You only earn them by playing with the heroes you love. There are no gameplay microtransactions. So put that to rest. Let's just play the game.
Let's get
Let's
into
go.
this
Let's play, guys.
world.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Jake, you and I used to play another game.
We did.
We're not quite in Kansas anymore, are we? This looks,
No.
This looks a little bit different.
So you're in control of the Hunter, moving her in real time there. You're at the Abbey, which is an entirely new superhero headquarters that we created with Marvel. Every cool superhero team has to have a cool superhero headquarters. This is ours. We're just showing the exterior. We're going to show more of the Abbey at the end of this mission. Today, we're really showing off combat. So we've got a couple of our squad mates here. We're going to head into combat. This is our Hunter. We've talked about how customizable they are. They can look very different from this. We're walking by one of the other characters on the team, Magic, my personal favorite character in the Midnight Suns.
It also was incredibly important to us and the team to have a base that reflected something like we all knew and loved when we were kids with Marvel.
Yeah.
Avengers Tower, X-Men, and the X-Mansion. Now having your own base is such a staple that I think you need to do in a Marvel game. It's something that hasn't been done before. You're gonna have your own.
Yes, and ours, that's a big part of the game, is how it comes alive, how you live with these heroes. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And so now what we've done is crossed over into this sort of interdimensional space we call Limbo. So Magic opens portals, you walk through Limbo, and you get to your next mission. And that's kind of one of her powers, and she can display this stuff in combat as well.
Awesome. So we're going to just dive right into combat then?
Yes.
All right,
We're going to play some combat.
We are going to play some combat. And again, we are a tactics team through and through. I'm so proud of the designers we have here and the folks that work with Jake and the creative systems designers, but we've made something that you have not quite seen before when it comes to a tactics game. There's so much when it comes to the visual element of this, characters and how they're going to move and the superhero flair that you're going to see. But first, we wanted to slow down before we start playing this thing fast.
Let's
talk about what the mechanics are
Let's talk about the abilities, right? Because, as you may have heard, the hero's abilities, they're dealt to you at the start of combat, and like a hand of cards.
Cards?
Yeah.
A timeless game mechanic, by the way, right, Jake?
What could be controversial about cards? Nothing, I assume. However, in case it is, I would understand why people would say, what? That's very different from anything we've done before. It doesn't actually, I want to make sure that people understand it doesn't play that different than things we've done before. But as Garth is playing, I'm going to explain how this whole system works. And the idea is that every character has their own abilities that the player is in charge of. So they can assign whatever abilities they want to Blade, to Doctor Strange, to the Hunter. They bring all those abilities into combat, and there aren't that many of them, so you're going to see all those abilities come up. But they're dealt to you as a hand of cards.
And there's some really cool card categories too, right?
Yes. So there's 3 different types of abilities that are really important. There's an attack, which Garth just did there. One of the benefits of abilities, treating them as a card, is we can put like really interesting effects on them. So we have tons of them. It's another benefit is we can make so many different abilities. We can give them interesting effects. One is an attack, which Garth showed off there with Blade. The next is a skill, which he just used with Doctor Strange. And that is the sort of thing that is a little more, could buff your allies, could be defensive. There are different ways to use it. But ultimately, the important thing is that by playing attacks, by playing skills, you're building up a resource that we call heroism. You can see this in the bottom right. That's...
What's that?
Yeah, it's a simple, the game all rotates around heroism, right? And so you build up heroism and you use that to then use the third type of ability, which is called a heroic.
They're your most powerful attacks. They can have devastating impacts on the enemies, and that's what we're working towards right here. Now, I have a few other plays. Before I use Doctor Strange's heroic, I'm going to use one of the Hunter's attacks to build up more heroism, which will make the heroic stronger.
So right now, the Hunter's in a great position to fire off this ability. Yeah, knock an enemy into another enemy. But you can also discreetly move your characters around the battlefield, and you'll have to be able to use different abilities or different effects in the environment.
So
now we're going to trigger.
Sorry. Oh no, you're fine. I was going to say, like, it seems like you have a lot of flexibility and freedom how you choose to play, like with your heroes.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the idea is that the game is meant to move pretty fast. It's still very deep. I love that ability.
That right.
He just KO'd that person. By the way, he buried an axe in their head, and then they just were knocked
gentle KO. It'll be okay.
Knocked out. Right?
After a few hours.
Yeah, fine.
But also, I mean, you saw that heroic ability. Our art team and our content team and all the disciplines that have worked on it, they have created these abilities that are in your face, incredibly satisfying to watch over and over. And the payoff. Yeah,
they've really pushed the presentation of the abilities, and it's amazing to see. There are a lot of deep elements to combat here, and part of that is how different the heroes play. So we have a number of different abilities here, and in fact, actually, Garth, you can talk about what you're about to do here.
Yeah, we're going to use a special skill from the Hunter, which is going to chain on and allow us to use a very, very powerful card in our deck. So Inspire allows you to play a heroic or a card that costs heroism for free. So that's what we're going to do with Hunter, and that's going to lead into this powerful ability.
Yeah, and so the hero combo, again, a big attack. The way that you unlock these abilities is actually through the Abbey. So we talk about how the relationships that you have with these heroes, and this, it's very awesome and very powerful. You unlock these super powerful attacks by forming a relationship with the heroes involved.
Last man standing.
Oh, here we go. Ooh, Blade. Gotta go Blade.
I mean, of course.
So again, that's an encounter. You know, they play very, very fast.
Why is it that for every one of these sites we take out, it seems like two more appear in their place?
Patience. Hydra certainly lives up to their name.
I've hunted an actual Hydra. That was easier.
Easier than this? I live up to my name, too. Hell of a price Crossbones put on your head, runt. Too bad he never said it had to stay attached to your body. Well, too bad for you. Big words for a dead man. You got one thing right today, Sabretooth. Heads are definitely about to roll. Oh, look. Another mangy stray. You smell wrong.
Compared to him?
Good point. Now I get to kill two runts with one claw. Maybe I should be paying Hydra.
Hey guys, I would be lying if I would say I'm not excited about this very iconic duo, this battle between Sabretooth and Wolverine.
Yeah, and as you saw there, just one of the cinematics. We have hours of cinematics in the game. Obviously, we're telling a very deep story, and part of that story, of course, is introducing these villains. And this is the first villain we've shown, but we have a large cast of characters, not just heroes. We've got, again, as I said, 12 Marvel heroes plus the Hunter. We also have a large cast of villains for the player to fight against. It's what makes Lilith so powerful. So again, she's the ultimate enemy. The thing that's cool about her, if you imagine the most dangerous people in the Marvel Universe, she's equally dangerous because she can corrupt people with a single touch. So not only do you fight villains like Sabretooth here, but you'll fight what we call Fallen, where Lilith has corrupted villains. She's corrupted even heroes that the player's gonna have to fight against over the course of the game. So yeah, very deep narrative. A lot of narrative comes out, not just through cinematics, but also you'll experience in-game as well. And now we're fighting against Sabretooth. And yes, you're right, this is an iconic matchup, right? Wolvie, the best at what he does. Sabretooth, kind of good at what he does. But he's deadly. Like, Sabretooth is a very deadly character. And so you're gonna have to require your entire team to take him out. All of our villains have a bunch of unique abilities and also a unique flair to them. Sabretooth, the idea behind Sabretooth is that he has an ability called Frenzy, and that means that every time you take an action, he may respond, right? So you have to be really careful. You have to be very efficient in what you do because Sabretooth responds very quickly. So you can take 2 actions, then he's gonna fight back.
So you have to anticipate when he goes on that frenzy, kind of.
Yes, for now. But yeah, I mean, I love Sabretooth. We've introduced, here we're introducing Wolverine for the first time. This is where you meet him. This is pretty far into the game, probably. I mean, actually this game's very long, so not that far, but this is a good 10, 12 hours into the game when you meet Wolverine and you unlock him. So there are characters you unlock through play. This is the moment when you sort of meet Wolverine for the first time. And so again, Wolverine, a completely different play style, completely unique set of abilities.
Can you go into his abilities a little bit more? Like what makes him so unique and different from the other characters?
Yeah, so if you think about Wolverine, he's very savage. He has the ability to attack multiple targets. So he has what we call chain. He has a lot of ability that chain to multiple targets. And at the same time, he can taunt enemies. And that means that he can draw their fire. When he attacks them, then enemies target Wolverine after that. And that's great because Wolverine has the ability to regenerate health. He's very low on health here. Garth, you doing okay, bud?
That's usual berserk. I'm gonna get some lifesteal on there if you want to mention that.
Well, that's fine.
I believe in you, Garth. Like you can do this.
Fine. As you can see, Sabretooth, huge health bar.
Heavy hitter. Definitely heavy hitter.
Definitely a heavy hitter. And so that's good. Wolverine has got some lifesteal going on and sent that guy to the moon. But yeah, this is the problem with Sabretooth, right? Is that he just doesn't stop. And this matches how he is in the comics as well. Like, Sabretooth doesn't stop,
Yep.
So you have to always kind of be on your toes here.
All right. What are we doing, Garth? Like,
We got him.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm actually going to
You're going to position yourself, use the environment.
Okay. Right.
One thing that's worth pointing out is that as you move, you can continue to move until you use an ability, right? And so you can position yourself just perfectly. Until you use an ability, you can continue to move around the map.
And the movement balance is one of my favorite parts as movement. If you play tactics, you know how critical it is. But it's this wonderful balance of you can choose to play more methodically and find that single precise movement position to take advantage of the enemies, but it's not every single turn, every single action you make that decision.
Can't heal. Have to keep going.
Night, so we saw a lot of good gameplay, a lot of good ability. It's just like amazing gameplay, of course. But this isn't just it, right, Garth? There's still a whole nother section to it.
There's a whole other section. It is enormous. It is incredibly exciting. Again, we love tactics games, and changing what we did with the tactics design, there wasn't enough. We wanted a whole other half of the game that was the RPG part of the tactics RPG. So we're going back to the Abbey now, and we're going to show you guys a little bit of a gameplay tease with what you can do within the Abbey.
All
and we're going to start in the Hunter's Quarters.
All right, let's do it.
You can do an enormous amount. Obviously, after a hard day's work, you want to go back to your place of refuge.
Right, you're wearing casual clothes, many outfits. We actually have a lot of outfits. That
and look at this room. It looks like some decorating could be done. Can you do decorating?
Joan, yeah, you gotta update your room, and yeah, there's ways to update not just the character, the room as well. Here's your beloved
horse, Charlie.
Right, your beloved hellhound Charlie, who loves you so much. You can, of course, pet the dog, and there's a lot of benefits to that as well.
Are we going to be able to explore that a little bit more?
We are, and in fact, what's happening right now is the hunter walking onto the common room after combat. And so, again, this is really a social experience where after combat, all these heroes are hanging out, and you can choose from different heroes after combat to hang out with. And this is an important part of building a relationship.
It is. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Not only do you have fun in combat, you come back, and you have a very, very important choice to make, which is a whole other part of the Marvel fantasy, right? It's not just battling amongst these heroes, it's who do you want to hang out with, Mika Marono or Iron Man, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of benefit to this, right? There's not just a narrative benefit as they commiserate over their terrible parents. My dad's not watching, because I can commiserate with them as well. But yeah, then in addition to hanging out with heroes, you obviously get to have a deeper experience talking to different characters around the Abbey. We're kind of alluding here, like your dialogue choices can affect the hunter's balance as well.
I mean, it's an RPG. There's branching dialogue choices here.
Right.
You mentioned the light-dark balance. The role-playing portion of how you want to craft your hunter and their personality is incredibly compelling. And you'll be able to do that in spades in the Abbey. Uh-oh, what are we doing here, Caroline? You love the dog?
I do.
You walk your dog?
I mean, it looks like it.
Dog can walk with you.
The dog's walking, leading me somewhere special. Okay, where are we going?
So, this is just one of the many things that happens on the Abbey grounds. So the Abbey grounds are very extensive, which you can explore, and you should. And this is a lot of really interesting optional content that the player can come out here, explore the grounds, uncover a lot more narrative, a lot more gameplay. And so, again, we wanted this to feel like a living space. And so it's not just the interior of the Abbey, it's the exterior grounds as well that feel, appropriately supernatural based on our
again, you think of the world of Marvel, it's not enough to just have a series of menus in between missions or a base that doesn't have a lot of content and substance to it. And the grounds really act as that, since they're overloaded with secrets and mysteries and deep, deep lore to learn more, even in other corners of Marvel that you may be surprised about, the background of the Hunter and Caretaker and other characters.
Right. And there's so much more that we would love to show
Let's
you.
Keep going. Can we keep going?
And we will. There's so much more to show you.
Soon.
And we will very soon.
All right.
All right, well, there you have it, guys. We have a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of Abbey, a lot of combat that's coming up as well. What's coming up, guys, in October, coming months?
A lot. So we want to dive deep on some of the characters, like start to show more about these characters, and then show more gameplay. We just hinted at it with the combat and the Abbey, so we want to show more of that in the coming months.
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's looking forward to it. Thank you so much, guys, both Jake and Garth, for joining us today and showing our fans, of course, like Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Yes, we are very happy to finally be putting the game together.
Yeah, so it's incredibly exciting. Thank you all. Thanks for being with us.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thank you, guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure to follow us on social media. Again, that is Marvel's Midnight Suns on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to give us a follow. Also, sign up for our newsletter for the very exclusive Night Stalker Blade skin. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing more. band.
Get you hyped.
Yes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on.
No, but we need the
We're
hypeness, of
kids.
course.
We're kids watching. Come on.
I'm sorry, I get excited. I get very excited.